The older I get, the more I start to feel like the villains in the story aren't always the villains. So I just recently read Revoltia from Impound Comics, and I gotta say, this made me fall in love with Impound Comics even more, and the story is so intriguing, so let's get straight into it. So Revoltia focuses mainly on two characters, Decimus and Alina. I hope I said that name correctly. So Decimus and Alina come from this planet called Revoltia, which is very technologically advanced, like hundreds of years ahead of the other planets. They got some unique and rare metal called Revium, and another gem called the Immortal Gem, which could like cure diseases and also control Revium. It's a lot. So the first king of Revoltia, named King Riptus, I believe, basically felt like this stone or this gem was too powerful and decided to break it up into like 7 different pieces to spread it all out, because putting it back together could just cause too much damage, or you really never know what it could cause if it gets into the wrong hands. And again, considering that the gem could do things like cure diseases, build cities, and even planets, once they split the gem, that was low-key the beginning of Revoltia's downfall. Once the people of Revoltia started running out of food and medicine, it was Decimus who suggested to the new king, maybe we should put all the gem pieces back together and save the planet and stop these people from perishing. But the new king is stuck in the ways of the old king, feeling like if we put the stone back together, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna fall into the wrong hands. Decimus was not too happy to hear that, so he made a plan. Decimus, his robot Codes, and his wife Vara pull up on the new king, which is King Koto, and decide, I'm gonna take the gem from you. So together they ambush King Koto. Decimus ends up unaliving him, getting all the shards he needs to put the gem back together, and proceeds to do so. But before it could really reach its full power, Alina ends up blasting the stone. But that causes a problem. Since the stone was blasted by Alina, it went into some form of defense mode, and they basically only had like 35 minutes to get off the planet before it exploded. So Decimus, Codes, and his wife Vara figured the best thing to do was to escape, and as they were about to do so, Alina ends up catching up to them, and mind you, she was the king's guard, and she just witnessed him get unalived. So she throws a spear made of pure Revium, and Vara jumps in the way and saves Decimus, but ends up losing her life in the process. Decimus swears his vengeance on Alina, grabs the body of his wife Vara, and him and Codes get on the ship and make their way out of Revoltia as that planet explodes into pieces. But Alina also gets away as well. So I feel like this is where it's safe to consider Decimus the villain, depending on how you look at it. He tells the survivors of the explosion that it was Alina who betrayed the king, and she's the one who tried to steal the immortal gem for herself, but she restored it improperly, and it was her fault that the planet exploded. He then proceeds to put a $3 million bounty on her head for anybody that will bring in Alina alive or unalived. Remember that unique metal I told you about that Revoltia had called Revium? There were other planets that had it too. So Decimus got an army together, and they went to the planets that had Revium and started unaliving everybody so they can take it for themselves. So after all that, Decimus proceeds to go to a planet called Lucinia, where he runs into a king named King Nidus. He tells the story of what happened on Revoltia, but he tells his version of the story, which is the lie. But King Nidus, being so experienced, tells Decimus, I know a lie when I hear one, so I have a different offer for you. He told him, let's go king versus king in a battle to the end. Winner takes whatever is theirs. And of course, Decimus agrees. So they duke it out, and King Nidus was giving Decimus a run for his money. I'm talking about crack the Revium helmet off of his face. But it was King Decimus who stands tall, slashing King Nidus across the chest and putting an end to him. And now he is the new king of Lucinia as well. With him now being the new king of Lucinia, the first thing that Decimus asks for is the prince, the son of King Nidus, Prince Sidon. But Prince Sidon was already getting up out of there once he found the news out about his dad. Now he also wants revenge. Prince Sidon was there at his father's side when him and Decimus had the conversation before the battle, so he immediately knew he needed to find an enemy of his enemy, and he went looking for Alina. Meanwhile, Alina has been moving around trying to find Decimus, but at the same time fighting off people who are trying to collect that bounty on her. $3 million. Alina goes to a bar looking for Revium because I think she knows that Decimus is going around different places looking for Revium. So if she finds that, she finds him. But as soon as she walks into this bar asking questions, notifications start going off around the area, letting it be known that Decimus raised the bounty from 3 million to 5 million. And of course, the people in that bar tried to collect that bounty, and Alina, who only had a spear in her hand where the tip was made of Revium, she went to work, turned everybody in that room into Play-Doh and spaghetti, did straight damage. and got the fuck up out of there. So as she's leaving that bar, Alina runs into this little girl named Kyra who has the special ability to know people's intentions, whether good or bad. And she tells Alina, I know you're one of the good ones and I need your help. Not too long ago, these gold boulders have been landing in my village, and these people are coming here unaliving all of my people because they think we stole the gold. Alina puts two and two together and realizes she's talking about Revium and tells Kyra, take me there. Before they can even move, an explosion goes off, sending everybody flying and unaliving a few people in the process. Kyra's mother, who was close by, was unalived in the process, and it was a bounty hunter with two clones of himself standing in front of Alina, letting him know, I come to avenge Revoltia, and I'm gonna put an end to you. Alina tries to tell the truth and lets the guy know, it wasn't me that turned on the king. And he asked her, are you the one that destroyed the gem? She said yes, and before she could explain herself, he got to throwing hands. Alina did her best to hold her own, but at the end of the day, she was outnumbered, so it was the bounty hunter who got the best of her. He ordered his two clones to stand her up, and he let her know that Decimus ordered her to be brought in alive or not. And as he was about to take her head off her shoulders, it was Kyra who let off a powerful scream that brought the bounty hunter and his two clones to their knees. Being the warrior that she is, taking advantage of the situation, Alina pops up to her feet, grabs her spear, and jabs it through one of the clones' chest, proceeds to kick him hard as fuck through his stomach, grabs Kyra, and gets the fuck out of Dodge. So Alina and Kyra make it to a new location where when they make it, Alina tells Kyra, wait here. Before Alina can get too far, the bounty hunters catch up to her, and immediately they get straight back to the fight. Kyra sees what's going on and feels like she has to help Alina. So she goes to save her and tries to use her sonic scream, but this time it doesn't work. And as the bounty hunters realize that, they're about to take advantage of the situation and put all this shit to an end. But before the bounty hunter and his clone can make a move, two lasers blast them in their torsos, leaving them with holes in their stomachs like a donut. It was no other than Prince Sidon. He found Alina and he had to let her know, me and you now have a common enemy. We gotta take down Decimus. Now, even with me explaining all that to you, you still need to read the comic for yourself, but I need to know your opinion. Can we really look at Decimus as the villain in this story? Because yes, him going to all these other planets and wreaking havoc like that is definitely a problem. Because although I don't agree with him lying to the people of Revoltia to get them all fired up when he's the one who caused the planet to explode in the first place, at the end of the day, none of that really would have happened had King Kodo listened to Decimus and just put the stone back together to save their people. They running out of food, they getting sick, there's no medicine. Decimus was trying to do the right thing, and when the king wasn't listening, he took matters into his own hands. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Is Decimus the true villain of this story, or do you feel like he was just trying to do the right thing?